Hey everybody, welcome to another recap of Survivor Redemption. Alright, so at Oopaloo, Brandon is crying. And I'm thinking, Brandon, why are you saying that you don't care what people say? Because if you did, you wouldn't be crying. Alright, so it's time for the Redemption Showdown. Michaela and Albert and Dawn and Whitney show up to witness. And Stacy and Christine, well, they're going head to head, but they went off on Benjamin, aka Coach, and they spilled the beans about how that Coach is running the show and Albert is his right-hand man. I mean, is it any real mystery that the veteran is the one that's running the show because they really know what they're doing? I didn't think that this was like such huge news, but whatever. So the challenge this week is the old dual spiral gumball machine of death. You know those gumball machines that you see that have they go down the big ramp? It's the same thing, but Survivor style. And every few seconds or every few minutes, you have to keep adding another ball. So you might have like up to 5 balls in play at one time. And the first one who drops a ball, buff in the fire. Alright, so Christine ends up winning. I forgot to mention when they were going off on Benjamin, thank God for captions, because I didn't have a clue what Stacy was saying. All I heard was, Coach. Alright, so, after Redemption at Oopaloo, Coach hates being called Benjamin, and he's like, nobody better be calling me that to my face. And Albert is freaking out because he's exposed now. So he starts looking for the hidden immunity idol. He finds a clue. He realizes he can't do it on his own. And he pulls in Coach and Sophie. And Coach prays to God, or whichever God he chooses, and says, help me find it. And he finds it. It was so cool. All right. But, unfortunately, he went nuts in the process because he pulled out the old third person. Coach has the hidden immunity idol now. Coach being me. Alright, Savai, Ozzy and Elise are all flirty in the hammock. And they were kind of rude to Cochran. I mean, he was going around doing some work and they're laying in the hammock and they're like, how do you spell Cochran? So when I write it down on, tribal council. That was just rude. But when Dawn and Whitney get back from Redemption, they tell everybody what's going on over at Oopaloo. And Jim is pretty anxious to hear that Ozzy would get rid of Albert if he was Coach. So he fancies himself the second-hand man of his alliance, so he's wondering if he's in danger. And as always, he's got to do something to ensure his position. So Ozzy ends up going fishing with Cochran and Keith. Well, in other words, Cochran and Keith stayed in the boat and Ozzy went fishing because he is so skilled at fishing, but it does take so much out of him. He is middle-aged Mowgli now. Alright, he's very arrogant. I really can't stand him, and I absolutely adore Cochran. At first I thought he was kind of strange. But he has definitely grown on me, and he's probably my favorite this season. So it's time for the immunity challenge, or should I say immunity and reward. They have 2 roasted pigs, and 1 for each tribe, and everyone's hands are tied behind their backs, and they have to rip off as much meat as they can and spit it into a basket. And yeah, you do the math. Whoever has the most amount of meat in their basket at the end wins. But they not only win immunity, they win a tray of veggies and spices and bread, and of course another clue for the hidden immunity idol. Alright, so it was disgusting. There was meat stuck in people's teeth, and it's not just that I'm a vegetarian, it was just really disgusting. I hate spit. You can light me on fire, but don't spit on me. Don't spit on me to put it out, because I'll just die. Alright, like I said, people were getting cuts on their mouths and meat stuck in, people had to pull the meat out of other people's mouths with their mouth. Michaela even picked up a piece of meat that was on the floor and put it in the basket with her mouth. All right, so Savai, 22 pounds, 12 ounces. Hello, Upaloo, 22 pounds, 14 ounces. They win by 2 ounces. That's like 1 bite of meat. And as a reward, extra, they get to take the basket of spit meat. ABC meat, already been chewed. So they cook it up, and Coach really goes nuts now. He was really acting crazy. He's on a meat high, I guess. But back at Savai, Cochrane was worried about getting herpes. Or maybe he was just worried about giving herpes. He thought everyone has herpes, pretty much. Well, at least 90% anyway. Maybe at Harvard, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the population, 90% is not herpes infected. Well, I'd be in the 10% then. All right, so Cochrane is running around working like a dog, and Ozzy don't like that. He thinks it's too little too late. So Ozzy-lessly, he obviously thinks Cochrane should go because he's a kiss ass. But Jim has other plans. He talks to Keith about getting rid of Elise. So at Tribal, after Jeff's gentle probesting, we figure out that the merge is too far off. So the strategy this week is to keep your tribe strong. But everyone is suffering from injuries from the challenge, which Jeff seems pretty surprised about. Broken teeth, cut gums, cut lips. Cochrane hasn't been wearing his retainer, so his teeth are in a state of flux right now. That's very bad, Cochrane. You should have listened to your ortho. It's very important. You didn't pay all that money for nothing. And FYI, when you vote somebody strategically out, it's still personal. It's always personal. Come on. So it's time for the vote. And guess what, kids? Elise is voted out. And that makes me happier than a pig in a Survivor challenge. Okay, it was a blindside. It was funny, though, to see the look on Ozzy and Elise's face. Because apparently they were the only two who didn't know. Because Keith and Whitney, although they didn't vote for Elise to go, they voted for Dawn, which still left enough votes to get rid of Elise. So who's Ozzy going to be sleeping with now? If I was one of the women on that tribe, I'd be like, stay the hell away from me because you're 2 for 2 now. Anybody who Ozzy likes, it's a guaranteed vote out. So next time, yeah, Ozzy's a crybaby. Would you expect anything less from middle-aged Mowgli? And Coach, after the meat high, he's having flashbacks of Russell. So until next week, much love.